right, we are live. So today I'm going to bring you guys a really fun treat. So normally what happens on Wednesday evenings is that I go and I do a space with a decentralized browser that's out there right now. And we've been talking about a lot of different things. One of them is actually VPNs, decentralized VPNs, Tor networks. And there's a lot of things happening out there that's just not exactly the way it should be done. And today, hey, I just want to do the bare minimum that I possibly can and just give you guys a little bit of insight as far as how this is a little bit of a scam because it is. I mean, let's be serious. When you involve a token and you're promising people the world and you're not able to generate revenue, where do you think the liquidity is going to come from? You got to ask that question and know exactly what it is. Now, I do see what's going on, Network Bits and Dabatola. What's going on, guys? All right. See, Network Bits shows up anytime there is any kind of negative publicity going on for any network. So I appreciate you being here, Joe. Um, Now, technical difficulties are the norm when it comes to Twitter Spaces and everything else like that. But I think I've perfected a way to have both Spaces and be on stream with you guys. So I don't expect this stream to be super huge or anything like that. I actually don't want it to be big because I'm gonna be testing things out and I want to make sure that it works well. That this is something that I can actually go ahead and do long term with other projects and things of that nature if this works out well. And again, you be the judge of it. Please don't hit that dislike button too much. And if you see me touching over here, that's because I am on my phone trying to get to that so said stream. Um, yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can get into this thing. Oh no. So here's the funniest part of it all. The stream started and it ended. I'm sure if you guys have been on Twitter for any amount of time that you understand how this thing works. If you start it and you don't know what's going on, you might stop it and not even realize it. If you switch from desktop to mobile, or actually mobile to desktop, that's usually what goes on. You got the FUD, yeah, man. You got the FUD. All right, Joe, lay it on me. What do you got? Are we talking Ator? Because it's there. I'm not gonna say all of this when I get on this call because I don't want to. I never bring FUD between projects. So if I'm talking to somebody, I'm never gonna talk bad about somebody else on that same platform. So before I hit go on this, Twitter Spaces, here was what I'll say: 9 times out of 10, if somebody's selling hardware and getting people to earn extra rewards for X, Y, and Z. Is it worthwhile? The answer is maybe, and here's why. Like I said, you have to be sure of where the liquidity is coming from. And usually when that happens, they might promise you the world. It's what, a company kind of did and basically said, we're going to sell these nodes. And if you buy a node, you're going to get extra rewards. And that's a way to kill the project because you're going to over reward somebody because they spend money on hardware that you're making money off of. I mean, talk about decentralization. That is the opposite of being decentralized. That is how you get people to leave the network. I mean, not right away. You're going to get a pump. You're going to get those people that bought a such node or a miner to that decentralized network. But then, well, it's gonna come crashing down because it's just not sustainable. So I have been hunting up and down the interwebs to find a fair decentralized avenue for me to browse privately and secure in a secure form. So I'm looking, how did the token launch? How is the token being distributed? And it's not about the token value. Yes, you can make money with this thing, but ultimately I want to make sure that it makes sense for the users. It makes sense for you and I that might want to share bandwidth or utilize bandwidth. So whenever you have a network that doesn't, let's call it load balancing, right? When you load balance is when you have the right amount of things on both sides. So load balancing for web, like let's say you have a lot of users trying to access the website, well, you spin up more instances of that site and you're able to access it that way. With these networks, it's the same thing. The idea is you got to make sure that you have enough people serving as well as consuming that data. Otherwise, you're dead in the water. It just does not make any sense for you. And none 20, yes, I was talking about Ator, but again, I'm going to be quiet because they sold those nodes for zero point 0.1 ETH and they're going for like 0.3 on OpenSea. Again, very good, short-term gains, but for the health of a network, not the best way to go about it. So hang on one second. I'm gonna get on the Twitter Spaces and let's see if this thing works. All right, I hit that listening button. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Turns out I didn't plug it in, so that's fun. That's funsies. All right, I am struggling hard. I thought this would be easier, but turns out I need to plug stuff in for it to actually work. Hello, hello, Corey. Nobody can hear you online, at least on the stream itself, because I didn't plug it in. So I am hunting down for that cable because I have a million of them on my desk. And as soon as I plug it in, everyone will hear you. Oh, Joe joined us.
Well,
What's up, Joe?
hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, and everybody online should be able to hear you as well. So we're gonna go
Nice.
MASQ Browser. We're gonna go over here. This is actually really cool online because people can actually see who's speaking at the same time. So I don't know. Y'all tell me,
Wow.
Derek, Robbie, everybody else watching on stream, if there's anybody else doing Twitter Spaces on YouTube as well as this. So let's get at it. How you doing, Corey?
Yeah, well, we had a start, so this is probably the first, I was just saying before, the first and last time I will try and stream a Spaces on desktop because it didn't work very well. It like showed up that it was working, it was live, but no one was joining, and I was just talking to myself for a while. So there's probably some weird alpha 5-minute snippet somewhere floating in the ether. Maybe there's some stuff in there if someone finds it.
I would love to hear that. I don't think it recorded because I tried going back to it and just the stream, the Spaces was not working. But
Yeah.
it's working now. We got people here, we got people on YouTube, so we have definitely eyeballs on what's going on. And I kicked this off by basically saying that people are not doing decentralized VPNs the right way, and I'm excited that MASQ is. Um, Guys, this is Corey. If anybody's watching on stream, Corey is the lead for MASQ Browser, and yes, it's a decentralized VPN. It's a browser. It's everything you could imagine and hope for Web3. It almost cures cancer. Almost.
Well, I could say maybe, you know, maybe one day it will unlock research needed in a part of the world where it's been restricted from uncensored access, right?
There you go.
That could be amazing.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, I mean, so there's definitely an opportunity there. So it's I'm not lying. It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah, but no, thanks for doing the new stream thing. So this is new to me. It's unprompted. We really didn't, it's kind of like, you know, spurred of the moment. So yeah, I'm live on YouTube as well. It's super cool. Going to go over some really cool updates, and I feel like we've done a lot in the first quarter. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that. But yeah, you said a good little intro about DVPNs and VPNs and how they're being done very interestingly now. Yeah, I mean, I think what you see now in the space is there's lots of different approaches, and some of them are maturing faster than others, or some of them are progressing faster than others. I guess, the market will speak to which ones will catch on the best, right?
Well,
Because it's all about the users.
you're dead on, and I do foresee some of these networks doing really really well short term. That's the problem. They're gonna, oh, everybody's so excited about this. They're earning X, Y, and Z with their new nodes and everything that they're doing, but then ultimately, will it stand the test of time? That's really what it boils down to. Some people do it just for the hardware. Right? Like, don't get me wrong. And somebody that I talked a whole bunch about has been Deeper Network. I think I sent you a video about the things that are working, not working. And those guys, they went the hardware route, and that's all they do. It is a fun little piece of hardware. I have it, I use it, but it's not what everyone needs, right? There is a barrier to entry that really shouldn't be there. Like, it's too high of a barrier for newbies to kind of come in and experience what they should be experiencing from the beginning. So like that's what excites me about MASQ. It's because it doesn't prevent anybody from trying it out, especially now that it's on testnet. I mean, people can literally go download and use a decentralized VPN for free. That's unheard of, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I guess we were kind of blessed in some ways by the way we originally tried to make the core software. So like for those who are new or just getting used to like what we've already produced and released now, the browser wasn't the beginning concept, right? The beginning concept, which is still alive and well and thriving and evolving, is the core networking protocol, and that's what's built underneath the browser. And really, the whole design of that was to make it where people can adapt with it. They can build it on various types of devices, so it isn't stuck on a piece of hardware. It can be built on different hardwares. So it could be a Mac, it could be a Linux, it could be a router that you've got some cool open source, you know, OS inside the router. There's something called OpenWRT where you can make a custom router. People do it with Raspberry Pis. You can build MASQ on Raspberry Pi. So it's really tried to be agnostic to the fact that it doesn't have to sit on one template. And that allows us to really have a lot more flexibility as things progress. You know, if you look at the various laws and concepts of computing, of computers, of machine power, AI power, like it's going to quadruple every couple of years, the power. So you want to be able to be running on things long term, not just, hey, we might do really well for a year and then fizzle. Like that doesn't really help a lot of people who need this software, right? Or if something's released that is quite disruptive in the tech side, all of a sudden all of your tech stops working. You know, you can't build sustainably like that. So we've been lucky with that. And what that means now is we exist for the technical people with that stuff, but we've made this easy to use browser, and it's slowly but surely getting better and better every time. We're opening that to just anyone who just all they want is to look at a browser and get the tech. Boom, couple clicks and you're in. So that's where we sort of blended the two sides, the technical side and the newbie side, to make sure our audience can be broad, but people can take advantage of all the tech. So
Awesome.
that's my TED talk. Thanks for coming.
All right, guys, this is it. We'll see you guys next. No, I'm totally kidding.
See ya.
No, so do me a favor. If you can sum it up in like less than 30 seconds, like what MASQ browser is and what you guys are doing, because I do want to be able to have maybe a snippet that people can listen to and say, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, honestly, like if you were to sum it up, how we put our header out there on a lot of our stuff, like the website and everything. I mean, we're a privacy-based Web3 browser, multi-hop VPN, app store, and earning ecosystem. So it opens up the world of the internet to anyone and everyone because the tech is borderless. So you get all the benefits of VPN, which means you can privately browse through a secure encrypted fashion on the normal web. And then you get the benefits of Tor, which means you can hop through various places. So because it's decentralized and peers are routing through peers, the peers don't know who each other are. So you've got a level of anonymity. And also you can hop around the world to get to places that you maybe can't access. Obviously, the ultimate goal is to allow anyone from anywhere to navigate to the internet to anywhere else in the world. And there's big countries that are very restrictive and repressive, like China, like even Russia now. I think Twitter's still banned there. Various countries very oppressed and firewalled around with their internet. We want to break through that and give borderless browsing for everyone, but have that incentive based where the users are powering it. So it's not, a company that can open and shut and change rewards. Like we've built this in a decentralized way on as many layers as possible. So even if our, people in our team change, if someone who's a developer like decides to change to a different team and we get a new developer, like everything can still go. It's permissionless and it's got protections built in for users. So that's how we've done it. And we've got our flagship product sitting there open to use for free on testnet. And that's what we want people to do, is try it out.
All right,
Build the
so
network with us.
that was incredible. Just the fact that you said anonymity. I sound like I'm in what is it called? Nemo, Finding Nemo, saying anemone. Yeah, I mean that just took the cake for me. Now people are asking basically, is this a version of DuckDuckGo browser, a Web3 version of it?
Good question. So DuckDuckGo still has a set of centralized servers. And I think what we've done in Web3 and crypto is we've started saying that centralized is always bad, it's always evil. And I'm not taking the stance that anything starting with C, centralized, is bad, but you've got limitations or like central points of failure because of that, right? So if there was a bad actor within DuckDuckGo or DuckDuckGo got compromised because they're using a central set of servers, all that data that maybe is wiped every now and then, hopefully they have data retention policies that are super tight. They don't want to hold any data of their users, which should be by design for what they say they are, right?
Right.
Little do we all know, maybe it isn't like that. Because what did you see the other day? Maybe if you saw the news about Chrome, there's a court order for them to delete 1 billion user data points. 1 billion. Oh yeah, guys, we're going to delete them now because they're from, guess what? All the incognito mode browsing users. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Now,
wild.
what the hell? Now, how do we even know that they're ever going to be deleted? How do we even know that there's a whole nother set saved somewhere, floating around in some floating data server on a warship somewhere in the middle of nowhere owned by Google? Who knows? But if you got centralized servers, there's going to be somewhere sitting there. Now, DuckDuckGo, they have a great service, and I think there's lots of good things about them. Where we're different is we don't have that centralized point. Number one, there's no tracking at all. And there's no like snooping. There's no way. All the encrypted data is encrypted end to end. So you actually have no central party that handles the data all the time. And there's no central way to store any trace of it because the network is powered by peers. So unless you try to, I don't know, hack every single peer user running and look at all their data, match them up somehow in some amazing puzzle and figure it all out with the routes, it's almost impossible to even do that. So we're just taking that centralized route completely on the stack. So that's how we're fundamentally different. So the browser itself can't track you, and the users who power it don't know who you are. So it's kind of as simple as that last sentence I said.
Now, I will say that Joe, that just was requesting to speak, I want to make sure I addressed it. He is my top footer when it comes to any new networks or anybody doing any kind of decentralized anything. He's my litmus test. Like, if you can stand up to stuff that he asks and the questions that he's got for projects, you're all right. You're
Sure.
pretty good. So I definitely want to hear from him and get him in the mix and kind of explain, why this thing actually works differently than some of the other networks out there. And a good mention, I think, would
Yeah.
be Presearch. Um, Presearch is a partner of MASQ, right? The default search engine on MASQ is Presearch, right?
Yeah, 100%. And if there's people that put their hand up, sorry if I didn't see it. I'm doing my usual pacing as action knows. I'm not looking on the screen. um, but yeah, they're a pretty solid partner of ours. We've got a lot more we want to do with them this year. Actually, probably coming up this quarter too. But the fact that they are decentralized in the same sort of ways, the same ethos as us. There's no tracking of searching. Behavior, searching logs, none of that. If you do a search, you pretty much know it's privatized. It's not tracked by your IP. You're not getting censored results, for example. Now, again, we're in an election year. Everyone knows that this is a hot time where misinformation starts flying crazy. Like if you were to search your favorite politician's name, if you used Presearch, chances are you're going to get a nice broad variety of results, not censored by your location, not censored by any cookies you've got in your browser that might be tracking behavior, fingerprinting, whatever. You're not going to get it. So in a sense, you're allowed to get a free, open, private search experience within a free, open, and private browser experience in MASQ. And so it's like a match, easily made. And that's why we partner with them. So that's a big benefit of coming into our browser and our user base.
Corey, you're doing a good job because Ryan just said that he's going to download MASQ right now. So good job. It's working.
One user at a time. You create, you convert one user into a fan and each fan into a super fan, and then you win.
Yeah. And the question's coming up, like, do you guys have a token? And they do have a token, but the token is not what some of these other networks kind of do. Well, we're going to hold on to the tokens, and as you serve, we're going to give them to you. So it's a little bit different, right, Corey?
Yeah, our utility token is almost as utility as you can get. Just a little brief history on that too, like in 1 or 2 minutes. And I promise I won't do a Putin on you and do like a 20-minute spiel of the life history
Yeah, I
of
need
everything.
the history behind it's always important.
Now let me talk about now in the 1300s how there was a ruling family whose son got. No, I'm just kidding. Um, our token was fair launched in a sense. We had no ICO, no private backers, no angel investors, no big like whales that just bought it up to spread it out across retail dumping and all that. We are probably 95, 94% circulating. The rest is in our treasury as originally publicized and documented all the way from day one. And so really the peer part of it is so important because that means there's a very fair distribution out there right now with real people, real wallets, real users, real testnet users as well. And the peers are powering the peers. So when mainnet turns on this year, people will be paying each other and earning from each other. And the reason that's important is you've heard this from many KOLs in the space, influencers or whatever you want to call them. A lot of them will say, look, if you're in a project, look at the circulating, because if you're swimming in the tank and there's lots of whales, as they sell, the tank gets filled, and there's so much more out there that the value diminishes to people. Here it's almost the reverse. If you're coming in now, most of it's out distributed by real users, and then when you're earning from peers. You're not earning from a reward pool that's sitting there like diluting everybody. It's actually from an organic network. And as the traffic grows, the user base grows, the network grows, that network effect is strong. That's going to be where there's so much value captured because the network is valuable. Using the network is valuable. So that token is key. We've got premium in the browser, and that's if you hold different levels of MASQ. We're just actually modifying some of how that will look for different features. So there's lots of price points if you want to look at it that way. We don't want to price anyone out from any level of coming in from new to old users. And if you hold different amounts, you'll be getting different features or enhancements in MASQ. One of the big ones we're coming out with very soon in Q2 will be the node hop feature. And just to give you a real simple outline of what that is, you can change the hop count from 3, which is the default for MASQ level privacy. And I'll just leave it. We can talk about that if we have time. But you can decrease your hop count to increase your speed. So essentially, you're hopping in less places around the world, getting a little less, anonymity from hopping and stuff. It's all encrypted still, but you can actually get faster speed because you're not having to traverse to so many places in the world. So you can even go down. We're going to experiment very soon before release, go down to even 1 hop, which might be just like a basic VPN hop, something like Sentinel, right? Where you are renting a VPN from a user who's encrypted, except ours is a little bit more encrypted and better anyway, but that would give you quite a good speed compared to 3 hops.
I'm just excited for you to be able to say, all right, 1 hop this time and do that live. That'd be really exciting.
Yeah, where's the soundbite, man? Where's that soundbite?
It's YouTube. You gotta be careful with what do you call it? Copyrighted music. That's the thing with YouTube. But yeah, but the beautiful thing about YouTube is that while you're talking about the node hopping, I was able to pull up MASQ Browser and show where the node hop actually takes place and how this thing works. Even though it's coming soon.
Demoing it.
Yeah.
Wait, where can I view this? I've got a browser in front of me.
Oh, the sound is low. The browser. Just go look up Action Crypto. It should say live right now. There's a really fun clickbaity image there. That's.
Are you smiling? Are you smiling, screaming, or grimacing? What's the feature now?
Oh, that's a good question. Which one did I do for this one? It was.
What's your thumbnail?
Oh, all right. So it's me with my hand over my face, basically going, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And here's a text. You got to get this one. Decentralized VPNs are a scam, and it's in quotes because it's
a scam.
Yeah.
Well, you got me to click, bro. The clickbait worked.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that's usually what I'm going for. I mean, that's the only way I can get Joe to watch my videos, right, Joe?
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Well, it's funny. Now I see you delayed. Like I see your actions like delayed from me talking to you live. So I'll try not to let it distract me too much.
Yeah. Go back to walking. Go back to walking. You're better off walking. Joe left.
I'm gonna pace.
The one time I said Joe something, he left. All right. Let's see if he comes back. He's probably on PC. He's probably on PC.
Yeah, we left
I'm
him
gonna say
hanging.
it's PC. It's a PC issue. All right.
Well, if we've got time, we'll have him come in and talk to us. Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna message him here. Hopefully it's a little bit louder and you guys can hear Corey a little bit better now. But Corey, I know that a lot of stuff has happened, right? So as far as Q1, what's been taking place as far as MASQ is concerned? Because I mean, it's version 0.9 now, 0.91.
Yeah, we pushed out 0.91 last weekend with a few bug fixes, optimizations, and stuff that's really good from the community, which was great to hear. But the main things packed into that new features, the new release, was really important. The premium was lowered to 500, which we're going to really good from the community, which was great to hear. For anyone who but the main things packed into that new features, the new release was really important. Since last year, the premium was lowered to 500, which we're going to then launch a lot more features for that. So for anyone who was like trying to get all the features straight out the gate, you don't have to hold 1,000. It was 1,000 since last year. It's dropped down to 500, so a lot more users can get all the premium stuff in there. But the main thing was open browsing is on. So the minute you jump into MASQ Browser, you don't have to immediately connect to the MASQ network for privacy browsing. You can try it out like a normal browser first with all the extra privacy features of a privacy browser by default, like no tracking, blocking the ads, you can delete your history, you can close it and all your history and cache is cleared, all that cool stuff. And then the cool UI, Spaces, desktop, privacy OS, all those things we built in as the user experience. You can get all that straight away. And then you can just go to the new panel type of implementation where maybe you don't want the browser, you just want to turn it on your computer. Well, like a lot of VPNs out there, you just have a small little software you install, you open it, little panel comes up, boom, boom, I want to connect, boom. These are things that are all conceptual in the browser. We'll take them out and make them their own software. So this is all part of that evolution as well. So you're seeing it in the browser first.
Awesome.
Lastly, we have new wallets. So we had a lot of people saying they're sick of MetaMask. I'm a big vocal and anti-Fox, although there's hints of an airdrop, so maybe we'll use it a little longer. But Phantom is working. Phantom's working well. That's nice. And that's an intro into Solana ecosystem and having those users join MASQ. So Salama Gomez fans can join us,
That was a terrible dad joke.
Those meme coins, I tell you, man, every time I wake up, I look at like a few of those chats or the, what do you call it? The deck screener, and it shows the hot things that just comes up. And there's so many ridiculous names in there. I'm just like, when's it going to stop, guys?
All right, we are only allowed to show the ones I'm friends with. So what is it? It's Kulo, it's Big Red. That's AVAX. Who's on the other one? Oh, buddy of mine did 99 cents for Arizona iced tea. That's a fun one.
That was good. I liked that. And then you got those crazy ones, like the cats are coming in now, right? Taylor Swift's cat, and now there's all these other cats coming in.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, it's narratives, right? Things come and go, and it's just a matter to see, will any of them survive? I mean, none of them are going to go to zero. They might go to like point something, but I'm really curious who actually does something with all this money that's floating around, because people are making a lot of money, right?
I think it's gonna bridge over to other chains now. You'll probably get it flowing into base now and stuff, which it is.
All right, I'm gonna try to get alpha out of you. So I know that MetaMask was the default for this, and then we moved over to Robbie.
Yes.
Now you said that there's Phantom. What about Frame or Send Wallet?
Yeah, Frame is still in there. Frame is like my go-to. That's my everyday, but obviously I'm a different user than most. Robbie threw us a curveball. They weren't really officially partnering with us like some other wallets we've been talking to. And then probably not purposely, but they did a big architectural change on their extension. And when we released our MASQ browser, it broke compatibility. So there's a workaround, which I don't want to spread like officially, because if they patch things later, it's not going to stay up to their current release. So we've kind of just not decommissioned it yet, but it's not really working in our current version. So the good thing is we've got a few other partners already geared up, a few other ecosystems as well that want to join in. But you can use multiple wallets, and there'll probably be a new default coming through, which will be nice.
And yeah, coming through. Okay, which one is that?
instead of MetaMask. Still not decided. Still not decided.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But it'll
right.
be nice. It'll be some, some stuff that people like to use, and they're trying. I still like Robbie. It's a shame that it's not compatible at
Yeah.
the moment. We're looking at that further. Hey, I saw there's a comment in here, Chantal NZ. Is that person a Kiwi as well? Are they a
Yeah.
regular?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's my peoples right there.
Nice. Well, we've got a little crew. We got to make a mask Kiwi channel and have a little festive thing here once a
I know
year.
a lot of them. Let me tell you, like a lot of them, more than I'd like to admit at times.
Oh. So do you have, well, you might need to hide your affinity to the Kiwis, right? Because you have maybe you have more Aussie friends than Kiwi friends, and they might get jealous.
They're fine. Yeah.
Just don't get them in a room when the rugby's on, mate. It might get a bit fierce.
No, very, very few, people from Australia, to be honest with you. Mostly, Kiwis are where it's at. I mean, they're just friendly. You guys talk to everybody, you get along with people. It's just weird. I mean, it's a different culture out there. I'll say that.
It's weird. I guess in the States, it's polarizing. Everything is so polarizing
It's what
sometimes.
sells. It's what sells, right? I mean, it's very easy for me to get clicks on videos if I make people angry with my thumbnail.
That's right, man.
It's
But there's
sad, but
this,
it's just how it works.
yeah. Maybe one day we'll come up with a social fi thing that will fix that.
Sure hope so. I really, really
Yeah.
hope so, because that would be huge. Um, yeah, I mean, we need it. It's toxic, right? Like it's the environments that we're in, and a lot of times, especially in crypto. I mean, it's very polarizing. Talk about politics. I mean, crypto is just as bad because you have the inner fighting. Like, oh, my project's better than that project. You should take your liquidity and bring it over here. I'm like, guys, we're just starting out. Like, we should be focusing on getting the tech where it needs to be and getting the best possible tech out there. Go ahead and compete, because you're not really competing. You're just trying to build something cool, and hopefully we can all benefit from it. Like, that's the way I see all these projects that are happening right now. Like, I try just about everything under the sun. And it's because, yes, I am curious, but B, I want to make sure that people understand that there's a need for innovation in this space. Like, we're not nowhere near mass adoption. So for now, yeah, there's no competition. It's just a bunch of people trying to get it right.
Oh, I totally agree. I think we haven't, people say, is it a bubble? Is this and that? We've heard that for how many years? I mean, there's cycles, but I don't think we've had saturation point, right? Where there's so much going on that no new ideas will be fostered and do well, because we're still such a leading edge innovation area, and it's coupling with so many different other technological advances like AI, like creator economy, where you own everything that you make. There's no middleman. All this type of stuff we'll see. It's bleeding into areas of society that probably the godfathers of it in Bitcoin days, they didn't think about that stuff, and it's evolving so quickly. It's super cool. And so, like, there's not a dull day in crypto, that's for sure. And you don't have all these like overlords saying, oh, you can't build that. Like, in a way, I'm glad that that's happening to the likes of WorldCoin and stuff, where they're saying, hey, what are your data privacy practices? Because you're harvesting biometrics from all these third world nations. Hey, tisk tisk. Like, you could still make stuff in crypto, and there's no one saying you can't do it. It's like still pretty permissionless, and that sort of fosters innovation in a lot of good ways too.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot easier ways to get biometric information. Just hack 23andMe, and then you have everybody's DNA. You get a little bit extra there, and their stock
Seriously,
went.
I'm
Yeah,
so
their
afraid.
stock went to
I'm so
zero.
afraid of that, bro. I'm so afraid of those things. Like, some of my friends have done it, and I'm like, yeah, man, I just don't have the trust there to send my DNA somewhere, man, off site. It's just like, mm, no thanks.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, right? Like, name a company. I mean, they've had breaches. They've had things that weren't done the right way. So, like, the more that we can do on our end, the better, because we're the only ones that we control ultimately.
Yeah. And we've talked about it so many times. Like, if you make this concept as funner and as nice and pleasurable as you can, and something that's sort of like got a wide variety of people's views, where it's privacy, security, those aren't sexy topics, but if you make them more interesting and fun, educational, but easy to use, nice to use, I think you'll get a lot of loyal users that stick around and enjoy the product. And that's kind of why it's taken some time to evolve some of our stuff, because there's so many different ways people look at that. It's not like a one size fits all. Like, some people are super private and they will only do things like that have 3 layers of security, and some people don't care. Like, some people just want to hop in and use something that's flashy and shiny and got cool animations. They'll give their credit card to anybody. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like,
And I mean,
it's a big,
coming up on this bowl, we're gonna see more and more of that. I mean, that's where what people are gonna be
yeah.
doing. I mean, I remember when things were really hopping. It's like 3 grand for a minor. That's yeah, sure, we'll do that. 1,500 here, 500 there. Like, money was going out like crazy, just because of those returns. It's like, yeah, we're gonna get our money back, and some of them we did well, some of them not so much. But ultimately, like, there is definitely money to be spent, and people were just going wild with it, which is
Mm.
good in the sense that people are, injecting liquidity into the space, but bad because we got to make sure it's going to the right places.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thought too. It's almost like consumer psychology, right? You got something like MASQ, which is testnet. We've been in testnet a while and it's free, right? And I think you also need to be mindful of, like, how do you balance the cost factor? Because if you look at an audience and say, hey, I've got this really cool new thing and it costs $1,000. A lot of people will put a lot of value on something that appears expensive because they automatically think it's really, really good because it's expensive, right? And you put maybe the same product next to it and say, hey, this is free, maybe people will say, well, it's free. Like, I wonder if it's that good, right? So it's almost like you got to find a way in the middle to say, okay, can everyone get involved? And it can't be free forever, or else, that value isn't perceived. And I don't know if that's going to be a problem for MASQ, but I've seen it in lots of other areas and innovative product spaces, is where, you want to have a good balance of that, because people sometimes associate that value with a price tag.
I mean,
It's kind of
personally,
interesting.
I think that Mask would have had some issues. If How do I even say this in a nice way? Um, if it was more difficult for people to share their bandwidth. I think what really sets it apart now is that it's a lot easier for anyone to basically click a button and share their bandwidth and contribute to the network. I think that's number one, because you're gonna get moon boys in here, not gonna lie, that are gonna go, I want to be able to share bandwidth as much as possible and try to reap all of these mask tokens. But you
Right.
can't just have that. You need people to use it. And the fact that the browser itself works well and people can both use and serve, that changes the game. That makes it so that people aren't going out of their way to try to serve, right? They're not trying to set up nodes, trying to set up things that they might not even be used to, just because they're looking for those quick turnaround, those quick gains. Like, people are actually participating,
Mm.
and that makes a huge difference. I mean, if Mask didn't have that feature where you can literally click serve and allow people to serve, that would definitely be an issue. But I don't think it is, just because of how it's structured right now.
Yeah, it's taken a lot. I mean, to be open about how challenging it is to achieve that, it's why we've had to iterate so many times on the connection stuff and make it stay so easy to use that hopefully it's only a few clicks, but still have all the technical stuff and the gears turning in the background work properly for the broadest audience. And I think for me as a project lead, we've spent so many late nights and hours troubleshooting and stuff like that, because the real issue is that so many people in the world have so many different network setups, so many different routers, so many different ISPs. It's really hard to make a one size fits all without some technical stuff. So we've been trying so many times just to get that balance right, to strike it again and again. We're going to nail it, no doubt. I've already got another release I want to push out, even though it's quite quick. We've done one last weekend, but we've already done a bunch of testing to improve it even more, for users to get this serving down. So we want the maximum number of users to be able to serve with the minimal amount of work. And it sounds easy, but it actually is very hard with the technical software with lots of variables. So we're going to get it. We're going to get it. And of course, the technical crowd, they'll be able to follow guides and walkthroughs. Like, they'll find a way. And there's lots of people who are ready. We want to get that that mainstream crowd into the game and into the fun as well.
Now, the biggest FUD around decentralized VPNs of any sort is really the content that's going through your network, right? I'm in the US. I can't allow torrenting to go through my network. Otherwise, I get a letter from my ISP. How does MASQ handle that?
That's awesome that you brought that up, because that is a big risk factor and protection factor that someone wants to know and be aware of when they choose to serve, because you are serving your bandwidth from your local internet connection, your ISP. They'll be able to see roughly like data. They won't see inside the data, but they'll be able to see, oh, this traffic's going to this IP address and this one's going to this site. They'll see the first hop. They don't know where it's going. So it's pretty harmless at that point, but they can still kind of detect some kind of patterns at the moment, just like other VPNs or torrents, things like that. So peer-to-peer, that protocol isn't on in the sense of the actual technical side. MASQ doesn't do peer-to-peer. Like it's actually a protocol that's different from what we use, which is TCP. That's basically 70% of what the traffic is online, going to websites, going to browsing, various platforms, whatever, on your browser. It's all TCP type data. And that's what MASQ lives in. So we're hiding in plain sight, right? But if you don't want things that are, more risky or whatever to be used across your node, we've made that a setup one click, where you can click on what we call your DNS services, your content filtering is what we call it, content filtering. And you can say, I only want family-friendly content to go through my MASQ node. And that will use the service, for example, Cloudflare Family 1.1.1.3. That's a very enterprise level, well-known service that will automatically not serve content that's requested for stuff that's known malware, stuff that might be X-rated, stuff that might be malicious content, or torrents, I believe, too, might be blocked on that by default. So he's already chosen that on the screen. I'm seeing your console there, so it's 2 clicks away.
I went hunting for it. I just want to make sure that I could find out any guidance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but good feedback too. We're going to make a little overlay window that when you first start MASQ, it'll walk you through and say, hey, here's what you want to do with this. Click this. We've had a lot of users say, hey, I'm new and I was like a little overwhelmed with what I saw from it being a normal browser. This screen's being evolved out. So what you'll see is just on the right eventually, it looks like a little window, little extension pop up, that square. That's what you'll end up with. And that can live on your desktop screen while you're browsing, just like MetaMask pops up over your website that you're browsing. This will pop up and you can change it on the fly. So you can change content. It might make you reconnect to the network just because it's going to reestablish your services. But you can choose that, and no technical settings in your router, no having to write down addresses and figure them out. You can put a custom one in there if you want. Some people use their own.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question. Can MASQ serve like torrents, like having multiple connections at the same time? So having multiple people, bouncing off of your node.
Yes, in a different way to torrents, because I think what you mean by torrents is you're seeding, you might be seeding content to multiple users or getting it from multiple users, but in the same sense of connections. That's why this really is a mesh network. It's not like a VPN point to point. MASQ does operate like that, where you're in a mesh. So you might have, for example, 4 neighbors around you, which are directly connected to you. When you send traffic to and from other peers, they're going to go through one of those 4 hops. One of those 4 neighbors near you, and first hop there. And then there might be 30 to 40 other nodes around you in your neighborhood that is hopping through to the end person who wanted your content. So you're using multiple neighbors in the mesh. At the same time, you might route traffic and not be the exit node who's serving it from the server at the same time as serving someone content. So you might have maybe or 20 asynchronous streams going through you where lots of users are using you. And if you're in a desirable place like the US or UK or wherever there's people that like to browse there, chances are you'll get a lot of traffic because lots of people are browsing for that kind of content. So we'll find that the market dynamics of the network will kind of react that way, where you might be somewhere down here, a little hobbit town, right? Like not a lot of people are going to want New Zealand-based websites, so you
Wait,
might not end
New
up
Zealand has
going through me.
websites?
Well, they're like made out of sticks and rocks and stuff, but they look pretty good in HD.
Oh, that's awesome. So something I didn't tell anybody, the first person to tell me they downloaded MASQ, I was gonna make sure that they had enough MASQ in there to use the premium features, and Ryan just said that he downloaded MASQ. So
Yeah,
Ryan, I'm
he
gonna,
says he's got to buy some. Don't make him buy any.
yeah, I
He
just said
said
I got you
himself.
covered, Ryan. So Ryan, I'm gonna send you a DM because I got all your contact info, and I'll make sure to set you up with some MASQ so you can experience the premium features as well.
Yeah, so we got some cool stuff coming. Before we get to late in the town hall, quarter 2 is going to be pretty big. We've got the first phase of our marketing sort of content initiatives coming out. I'm going to launch some pretty big news about an ecosystem. I guess you call it a fund, an ecosystem grant thing, where we're going to be incentivizing a lot of stuff in the ecosystem as well as retroactively. So I'm going to say retroactively, meaning people who've helped us grow in the past. We want to do something for you guys too. So that's in the works now. Just for visibility, Polygon Mumbai is being deprecated. So a lot of what that means is
Wow.
they're basically stopping. So we are under the pump now, making the migration moves. So hopefully, very soon, the next version, which does have to be soon because of that, there will be a seamless transition for users. If we nail all this right, which I think we are, we're ahead of the deadline that we had internally. You won't need to do anything if you need to migrate with tokens. It'll all be done with the faucet. We've got it all sorted, but it'll just mean that you might need to add a new network in your test wallet to show the new test stuff, because Mumbai is going away. So that's been like the main focus for the last sort of 4 days, but that'll be done, and it's going to be done ahead of the deadline. So that's really good. But why I'm mentioning that, that's more of a technical thing. Why I'm mentioning that is that's given us the space and sort of like the stop moment, the pause moment, to look at other chains test nets that are very similar. When I say other chains, I mean other L2s that are kind of parallel to Polygon in the EVM space, other ones that we sort of looked at growing over the last few years and haven't done anything with them. Remember, we're chain agnostic, more or less, so we can deploy on various chains. And that means various ecosystem and communities might be able to use MASQ if we support it. So we're really doing some cool testing with that. And so, could be cool to look at the home bases out there.
Well, I'll tell you what, the reason why that's a really big deal, these people are giving out grants like crazy. And
Yeah.
if you can leverage different L2s to build, like to further build mass, that would be incredible. Um, yeah, I mean, I got somebody in mind that has been, dishing out tokens like crazy. That's an L2 for ETH. Yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity out there. A lot of
It's
opportunity.
huge. Yep, it's huge, and we've got context kind of getting deep into some of them, and we want to balance that to show like, hey, we can serve multiple chains. It's not cross-chain yet. That's a real big undertaking that might be in the future. But you talk to so many, Ethereum maxis and people that are so deeply into that whole, Ethereum EVM infrastructure side. All of them will say the future is multi-chain. I don't think there's many
Agreed.
people left that are like one chain rules all type of
Oh,
shit
there's a
anymore.
there's a Bitcoin conference. You can meet a lot of those people.
Oh, the Bitcoin maxis for sure, but they're but they're also anti-smart contracts. So they're like everything ordinals is spam on the network, and
Yeah,
they'll be burning Taproot wizards at the stake.
yeah, that's okay. They can keep doing that. I'm gonna earn my high rewards by having inscriptions on there.
It's almost like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face, right? Because
Yeah,
don't they understand that fees will drive mining? Like, throughput will drive sustainability. It's just it's an
it's
interesting
backwards.
stance to
It is
take. It is.
backwards. I agree. But again, I mean, they're not called maxis for nothing, you know. So they got to
No.
do something that's polarizing, and that's the new thing right now that they're the tree they're barking up. I don't know how long they can do
Oh
that for,
man.
because I mean, we need utility for the Bitcoin network long term. We need ways to generate, fees if we're going to make sure this thing, outlasts the distribution. So
Yeah,
it's all good. But that's a really cool
it'll
thing that you're
happen.
looking at different L2s, Corey, because like I said, I'm looking over here like, wait, you can get a grant for like, I don't even want to say the L2s that I'm thinking about right now. But that's a
Mm.
big deal. That's a really big deal.
Well, and it's so much more attractive for mainnet because you look at the fee comparisons. Now, just for anyone who is technical, like the only other techie stuff I'll talk about is that Polygon, they didn't inherit that recent upgrade. I think it was Dencun or whatever,
Yep.
where the fees were like 1/10 or even less on the L2 rollups, like, Optimism, Arbitrum base. They're all like so much more gas efficient. It's crazy. It's almost like you can't build a DApp on ETH now. You have to do it L2, which is kind of good in some ways. It's offloading that network congestion onto a chain that, design that can handle it. But, that's where the users are going to be too. You can't just keep building something and hope that the users will come back over the bridge that's really high and steep and costs lots of energy to go through. You can't expect them to come back that way if they're already living somewhere else, So we've got to think about that too. But again, thankfully for the original designs we've had, it's been agnostic early on. So we aren't like governed by any one chain. And that's good too, because if something bad was to happen, not that it would, to a chain, you're not just shit out of luck. You can sort of, you got the agility to go somewhere and deploy where you need to go. So we're really spending this time now while we're doing the work to also make it easier for the future to say, you know what, we've had great support, great development business contacts, whatever here, the community's really bumping. We're going to now look at this chain and it's going to be easy for us to do because we're, going through some of the motions now.
Yeah, that
So
that yeah, that,
very
that's
cool.
that's really important. I mean, long term, I mean, you only care about that if you're not looking to rug and if you're looking to do this thing long term, right? Which is where I see MASQ going. You guys have been building for a while. Like anybody that's been through at least one, bear cycle, and well, through one cycle, at least one bear, at least, well, probably two, understands that you don't build for the bull. You build, you build for all seasons when things are good and when things are bad. Otherwise, you basically sizzle and you just fizzle out. There's no way for you to like have that sustainable growth while things are going down. If prices are going down, nobody's going to be interested in, buying a new token or checking something out. But if you're focusing on a tech and making sure that things are working well, it doesn't matter what the token price is, especially in the decentralized manner that MASQ is distributed. Token price, so what? It's a matter of load balancing the network by having more people share and have people utilize it as well, because utilization is also important. And oh, cool. All right, Ryan got the tokens, and I did have something else come through the stream here. I had somebody complaining that they weren't able to connect with MASQ previously. They downloaded and it wasn't connecting, but they connected tonight.
Oh,
Did you fix something?
we fixed a lot of stuff. I do try and keep the change logs a little more, easy to read. But we did, because I do write those up. But on Canny, you can have a look, and then it's we've done some technical stuff. There's more coming too. Like basically, we want to just make it so you don't see failures. If you happen to see a failure, you'll see a message that says, "Here's what happened," and so you can fix it. Before it wasn't that great, so now that's a big change for us. Good, in a good way. Um, yeah, and then one last thing before I forget is on the Q2 horizon, which could be really soon rather than the end of Q2, to use the MASQ browser as an everyday browser. There are some elements that are still missing. We're not being oblivious to that, right? One of them is the password manager, and I think everyone who's doing their digital life, you're going to have a password manager now. You have passwords for everything. You want to make sure it's good. So we've had people ask, are you going to build one for MASQ? You're going to make one, this and that. I'm like, I don't want us to not waste, but drain time, resources, developer time, whatever, on our own. Let's go with the leading enterprise solution that's available for free for everyone, or for your paid ones or whatever. So we've got a couple partners in mind. One of them will feature in MASQ very soon. So that's one more reason why you can live in MASQ every day, use the browser, and have it as part of your daily life. And if we can achieve that more and more, the users will grow, everyone grows. And it's good.
No, it's
So
great.
that's what we're on there.
No,
Yeah.
it's awesome, and I did have those issues early on where I was like, oh, I can't connect. Let me try again. Let me try again. So it's gotten a lot better, and it's exciting to see that there is more partnerships and there are more things actually coming. We need it, right? Overall in
Oh,
this
yeah.
space, there's not enough things built for Web3 yet, and making sure that people can have an ecosystem that's really cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. Um, Something that you didn't mention that I really like about Mask is the fact that you guys have a little hub where people can get stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get it open on the dashboard thing here, but you have apps that are almost like native to a certain extent. Through these partnerships, you have a DApp store, and within the DApp store, people can find things that they might be looking for pretty easily, right?
Yeah, we're going to curate that more and more as we grow. We still get a huge amount of projects that ask, hey, can we feature in there and this and that? And some of them are amazing. We're just like they fit right in with the ecosystem with what users want. Yeah, so that's where a lot of our partners will feature first and foremost, but also common places people go. And the way we've designed it, just so for those who are conscious of these things, which is important, because we're a privacy security based solution, really, is that whole DApp store is powered by an open source repo as well. So if you were to verify, are these real links for these sites? You can actually go online and look and say, okay, is this the real quick swap site? Okay, it looks like it is.
Very
Great.
cool.
You can verify it. Where a lot of places you might click on the wrong thing. It's a phishing link. You're screwed. You get hacked. You lose your shit, and you got a bad taste in your mouth if you're a new user. You're like, to hell with this cycle. I'll come back, and you don't want that. We
I
don't
don't,
want people to have that.
Nobody's lost as much as I have, so it's okay. I'll tell you guys, don't leave. Stick around. Just make good decisions, okay? Just make good decisions.
Hey, you know what? It's funny how all things come back around. I'm seeing a nice little wormhole airdrop. Which is like a 5% of what I lost.
5%, really? Man, that's rough.
Maybe less. I don't know. It hurts to see, but I would have been a lot worse off if I didn't act quickly. But yeah, it's funny. You stay long enough, sometimes you get paid a little bit back from all of your mountains of losses, and in the scar tissue heals, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, anybody got money on Blockify? They're giving people money back. Not all of it, but a chunk of it. So you can actually withdraw
Hey,
now.
so Celsius did payouts too. I
Yep.
happen to be in there too, which was nice. Not sure if I'm going to touch that Ionic crap because you got KYC again,
Yeah,
but we'll
that's
see.
the issue is KYC right now. But hang on a second. Are you secretly providing exit liquidity for everybody, Corey? What else have you provided exit liquidity for?
Man, if we need another half hour to go over the list, I think.
Man, yeah, it's rough. It's really rough. I mean, with the things we go through, it's kind of sad, but it's
Yeah.
encouraging that there's people out there that care enough to do things the right way. I mean, one of the big reasons why I still do YouTube and I'm still around is because I want to make sure people are safe. People are, essentially taking care of themselves. Like I do giveaways whenever I can, just to try to instill the mindset of, hey, this is crypto. You got to make sure you're trusting the right wallets. You're trusting the right websites. You got to make sure you're verifying everything that you do. And I mean, ultimately, that's my goal, right? Is making sure that this space is better. Before is better now than when I first found it, which was a long time ago. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But lots of
It's
illicit
true.
activities when I first got into crypto. Joe is back. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to provide us with some FUD before we close out.
Yeah, I do need to run to get the kids soon, but I might have a little 5-10 minute window of FUD refuting
It,
if we need to.
if he's up for it, you know what I mean? Like that's the whole thing. You might have intimidated him.
Oh, that's okay. I was needing to run it right on the hour or pretty close to the hour, but um, what you said there actually that was a thought saying system through the browser, where you can see lots of layers of trust that you can verify yourself in one place. A place where, yeah, you can click on a link and you know it's okay. Wallets you can choose where you're familiar, whatever. So hopefully my audio's still working. I got a few comments in your thing saying the audio went off.
I know. Yeah, I refreshed it. It's you gotta love Twitter sometimes.
I know, man. Well, maybe they'll fix that too. But yeah. No, there's lots of cool stuff that we're putting in. You know, Q2 is going to be really hot, better than Q1 for sure. Lots of cool things in the works. And again, you know, I gotta end with the whole request to the crowd and anyone listening. Please jump in and try the MASQ browser. It's constantly getting better. Yes, we've got things we still want to improve. So all good feedback is good feedback, and all bad feedback is good. Not bad, but like constructive feedback is good. The brand new website's up. So you can also look at like that whole new feel of hopping in, looking at this user experience, which is friendly, not shadowy, mysterious. Hey, you know, I'm going to be lurking in the shadows. It's like, well, you can use it anywhere, you know, for traveling, whatever you want to do on MASQ, it's there. And so, yeah, I want people to give us feedback on that, and then try it out. It's still free in testnet. If everything goes well, you won't even realize you're on testnet Amoy on Polygon in another week or two, not having to do anything. And for me, that's a big achievement that we can achieve as the dev team, to make that seamless. So I'm sure that will go really well, and we'll let everyone know how that goes.
Yeah, that's a
There's a new website.
it's a bigger undertaking than I think most people realize. So I appreciate you all doing that on the background, because I know I don't want to be dealing with it on the front end of things. So yeah,
It crept up real quick, man. I was like, oh gosh, April 13th. That's a great day.
man. All right, so if you guys are wondering, maskbrowser.com is the URL that y'all got to go to check this thing out. Somebody was asking me about tokens. There is a download on the left side here, but on the right side there is a get MASQ tokens. There is both Uniswap and a QuickSwap. Go to QuickSwap. Don't waste your ETH for transactions on Uniswap. It's not worth it. But that's how you get it. There's a ton of stuff here if you guys are wondering. One of my favorite pieces of the website is the comparison portion of it, and I'm gonna keep scrolling until I get there. As far as
yeah, show that off.
all
Got
the
some browser
different
names in there.
all these different things. Let me throw myself on the right real quick so people can read these things. And Brave does a lot of them, and then it doesn't. So between country switching mode, the 6-hop routing that doesn't exist. You got these little bubbles that kind of give you more instructions and description. I'm a little disappointed where it says history destruction mode. You should have said that they still have your data from incognito on this one. Just saying, you could have totally said that.
We probably could have put some more hate in the descriptions. I think I might have got. I know we don't believe in censorship, but maybe some of my descriptions were censored before they made it to the published live version.
Yeah, it's the team going, Corey, you can't say that publicly. That's not very nice.
Yeah, bro, you don't want to get us in trouble, man. We can't say that. Yeah. So we gave Brave a few green ticks. You know, they're doing some good things in the space.
Yeah.
But you know, we have some edges on all of them.
Yeah. So somebody said, let me see. Most browsers have incognito mode that doesn't store history, but no privacy by default mode. Like history destruction that lets you decide the limit of history items for everyday browsing. So that's what it is, History Bear. If you're wondering how history destruction mode is different on MASQ. So they take it a step above, where even the stuff that you browse every single day, you can set limits on how long it's even going to be there. So
yeah, that's right. I think where someone said you can turn that on Brave. That's good. Yeah. That's cool. They finally put that. I think people were asking for that. But yeah, on ours, if you set it to 0, none of your history will be saved at all, which is pretty cool. So, you know, you can basically open and close MASQ and nothing's retained if you don't want it to be retained. But then you've got your browser bookmarks. You can load bookmarks in there. One cool thing, this is one last thing I'll share. I had a close friend and community member as well pitch an idea, which I didn't even think of. How many times, maybe you can comment on this, how many times have you wanted to share a set of bookmarks to another user? Have you ever wanted to do that? Like, hey, I'm searching for like let's plan a trip together, and you want a set of bookmarks, like 5 sites, and you don't want to copy and paste all the links. You just want to share
I was
a
about to
list,
say that. Like, yeah, I do that, but it's usually just a list of like a copy and pasting, putting in Telegram or something.
right? Wouldn't it be cool if you could like privately, but also in a way that it's encrypted, so you know it's like not phishing sites, but a friend, like you know who it is, essentially can verifiably send you a little bookmark list and say, hey man, check out these 5 sites I've been planning for our guys weekend, and share it to someone like through IPFS, all open but encrypted for just that person. And then boom, open it in MASQ. You got your 5 tabs, open up, boom. Cool. Thanks for that. I mean, that's a feature that doesn't exist in any browser that I'm aware of. That'd be super cool, man. So we're
I
gonna add stuff like that, you know?
I need to get you in contact with another company that's doing something similar, but it's not actual bookmarks, but something similar to that. There's a definite partnership opportunity here.
Cool. Let's do it, man. I'm keen. I mean, if they're like sort of Web3 sort of based, like they're sort of in that whole realm where they're,
Privacy
like
first.
that.
Privacy
Yeah,
first.
privacy first,
100%
man.
has to be.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, man, let's do it. Because, again, I've always said if we can if someone's built it really, really well and done it, like I'd rather not have to reinvent the wheel. Like, let's partner with the good guys and girls, and make it happen. But
And
no, man, it's been good to talk about it.
no, it's been phenomenal. Yeah, I appreciate you being willing for me to actually stream this out and put you on the spot for all the thousands of people that are listening.
Yeah, thousands, and all the thousands that are going to listen to the recording too, man. You got that great thumbnail going. You're going to get a lot of clicks.
Yeah, people are gonna follow up on this. Like, what is this? What is this guy saying? Like, what? What? I'm probably gonna get some shorts out of this one and probably redo it so people listen in.
Yeah, man. But no, always a pleasure. Thanks for dealing with the restart of the link as well. We had a bit of well, I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to try and stream an X Spaces from my desktop. It's going to be phone till Elon sorts the stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The problems that you think you're still in there and you're not half of the time. That's the biggest problem with it all because it just you
Oh,
think it rugs you, right? And you're like, oh, I'm
seriously.
talking to a bunch of people. And it's like, no, you're not talking to anybody.
Yeah, the signals were there and I didn't pick up, the fact that there was no other avatars sitting in the space. So I was by myself. No one was replying, no emojis, nothing. I'm like, yeah, this isn't working. 5 minutes in, I'm like, I'm by myself. It's like that Pablo Escobar where you're standing in the empty pool. You're like, where's everybody?
On the
And
swing.
yeah, it was just me. Oh,
Awesome, Corey. Well, I appreciate the time. Guys, go check out massbrowser.com to see what this thing is all about for real. Like, it's live, it's happening. You guys can actually check it out. And, testnet is live public testnet, which means that you can browse for free. Take advantage of this opportunity. I don't know anybody else that's doing this sort of thing. And we need users, right? Ultimately, we need users to jump on this network to both browse and share their bandwidth so it can, stress test it. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what a testnet is all about. It's making sure that the systems are working, they're functioning, and it gets you ready for when, mainnet launches. You can be the first ones in line. Are there going to be
absolutely.
airdrops or anything like that for testnet people?
Well, that ties back to that retroactive thing I'm drafting up now. We do want to reward people who are testing with us, who have been testing with us. So it's not too late. We haven't done any formal stuff with shortlisting or whatever. There are definitely people we want to say thanks to in a meaningful way. So yeah. So hey, never a better time to jump in, try it out. Get your wallet with that automatic faucet for the test token on the chain. Make sure you get on there, and yeah, we'd love to have you as well, but just to help us grow. So yeah, that's all going to happen this quarter, and some things a lot sooner than later. So
Beautiful.
yeah, good
That's
stuff.
that's really exciting, Corey. I appreciate it once again. And we'll be back next week, same time, same channel on Spaces. I don't know if I'm going to do another stream. Actually, I'll listen back to this one and see how well it went because again, you guys are my test subjects right now to see if this thing rolls smoothly enough. Um, the faucet for a test net, I'm gonna go over a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna end it here, by the way, Corey. So you're good to
Go
go.
ahead.
I'm gonna keep going and make sure that everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. We're gonna do a little show and tell and have a good time on YouTube's.
Awesome. No, I loved it, man. Thank you for doing that stream. It's super cool. And actually it was cool to put something up on screen while we're talking, just to see people live, the live comments and you showing the demo. So hey, everyone enjoy. You get that right at your fingertips if you hop on to maskbrowser.com and download it. And we'll talk to you next week, man.
All
Thanks
right.
again.
My pleasure. You have a great one.
Yeah, see you guys. Bye.
Bye. All right, now I get to move my screen over and actually read your comments, and you guys have my undivided attention. Let me go over some of these things. We got is Deeper a scam also because you love their DPN. Yes, it's a scam in the sense that it's not made for the token itself, right? The token value really comes from people using and sharing, doing all these things. The scam comes in where you're raising money through a device. And I do scam in quotes because they are trying to do it right. They're not hiding the buck. They are a hardware company and they're doing this thing to make sure that the network is robust. They have a ton of node and it's really exciting. It's plug and play. I still use it. I'm using one right now. But the scam part of it is when people try to sell you on the idea that you're going to become rich by running this little device that you have to spend money on. That's not how crypto works. And that's what I want to make sure people understand. It's all a matter of understanding where the liquidity is coming from. You need to have that liquidity come from somewhere, and hopefully it's not from you. And normally, a lot of devices are the ones that are bringing the how do you say it, the liquidity in, right? So Deeper isn't a scam, but it's not a scam. This is perfectly put. Perfectly put. Do I like Deeper? Yes, I think that Deeper is a really easy way for me to get my parents onto Web3 and understand that security matters. And I don't have the time to go over their house and make sure and like redo all their networks. All I did was, hey, here's a little device. Plug Ethernet on one side and plug Ethernet on the other side, and you're good to go. That's the extent of my setup for them. So it's a good system, but it's got its applications. It's not for everyone. I like what MASQ is doing because of the fairness behind it, the way that what they went about sharing this token out and making it a viable option for everyday people. You can use it right now for free. You can test it out. The browser itself actually works really nicely. I use it as my third browser. There are things that I only use MASQ for example. So it's another platform for you to be able to, you know, segment your dealings on the internet, and especially when it's dealing with Web3 stuff. So yeah, it's just a good project, a bunch of good people building cool stuff. Now, I want to make sure I address questions. Let me see what else we got. Where is the faucet and which test net? I'm guessing that's what it is. That light started freaking out on me. I don't know what happened. That's not good. But hey, it looks fun in the back. We're going to keep it up. History Bear, we're going to go show and tell for you right now. Present. We're going to share my screen. We're going to go to MASQ Browser. Where's MASQ? Right here. Okay. So here's the browser. And just going to go home real quick. This is what we see on the bottom here. You see turn on. If you click that turn on button, it's going to bring you to the sharing and receiving data basically portion of the system. And this is my streaming computer. I don't actually have MASQ really set up on this one. I'm just actually streaming through it. But this is where it is. So the testnet that we're on is Mubai, which is Polygon's testnet. And the faucet is basically automatic. You're going to get a little warning whenever you're in here. It might say like, oh, you don't have enough funds. This 48 number here, that's what that refers to. Let me see if I can make this little, nope, that didn't work. Clicked on the wrong thing. Let me see if this works. Nope, but it is 48. It's just my screen's a little bit small. Maybe if I go like this. Yeah, maybe that's a little bit better. But you see how there's 48.64? These tokens, they are testnet tokens. So if you go to the wallet, you're going to see that Polygon testnet balance in use by MASQ. This is where things would be. Yeah, Tekken. I'm using my Deeper device too. Again, I think that this is the best way to describe it. Y2K nailed it. Deeper isn't a scam, but it's not a scam. You just gotta make sure what you're using it for, right? Like don't get a Deeper device expecting to become a millionaire, next day. I love the new deeper device that I can plug into my MacBook Pro. It's done wonders. It's worked really well for me on travel, but it's not something, that I would use for everything. But it serves its purposes, and the hardware itself is pretty good for what it is. I mean, price wise, price versus what it gets you, it does go a long way, which is really really nice. Um, I just want to make sure I stuck around to answer any questions any of you guys might have. But yeah, MASQ is pretty cool. There's a lot of other projects out there, and I'll talk about. I actually started making a video for this one. The reason the description, the thumbnail says what it says is because of Ator and how they decided to sell 1,000 nodes, and it's they are trying to raise funds to. This is crazy. I'll do some screen sharing while I'm at it, just so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, let me see. All right, now that Corey isn't on the line, I can do whatever I want with this. All right, so here we go. Layer for DPN, and then ecosystem. No, right here. Purchase hardware. These guys went out and decided to pre-sale of 1,000 units, and they sold out on the 29th of December. Okay. Now, I don't have a problem with this, but I'll show you why it's a problem overall. In the first NFT pre-sale, 500 of the 1,000 have been whitelisted. It's all whitelisting stuff. So let me go to the token. Here's where my pet peeve basically starts. So you give them the funds to create hardware. So you funded the hardware so that you can in turn come back here and earn more as a verified Ator relay. That's the problem, man. Like you're focusing on things that you shouldn't be focusing on. You're giving better rewards for people that are giving you money for hardware. And like the hardware is super basic. Like this is a mini PC, like a garbage mini PC, right? And they were charging 0.1 ETH, and now they're on OpenSea selling for even more. It's wild. Again, yes, there's money to be made. You got to make sure that you're quick with these things because it will come crashing down. Is there, a benefit short term? Yes, there is a benefit short term, but you got to be careful with the long term end results and what it actually means for the network. If you're just rewarding people that are going to give you money for hardware, are you really supporting the network, or are you supporting your manufacturing and you're bringing money in for manufacturing? That's the thing, and that's why I said that Deeper is a scam, but it's not a scam. Y2K nailed it perfectly. Is because they focus on the hardware aspect of things, and I totally understand it. It's just a matter of, wouldn't it be better if there was a platform where you didn't have to buy anything to be able to share, and it was a fair token that was really focusing on making sure that the load was balanced, where there are, just the right amount of people serving as there are people that are using the network. I mean, they're building this thing from the ground up. They've been building for years, and I like the fact that they're doing a good job with it. I think that we just need more people like this in the space. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to continue to fight for what's right, what's good. Would I buy that Ator, hardware for their relay? Yeah, I would, because that would probably make some good cash short term, but long term, it's just a mini PC that I'd probably just wipe and use for something else, because it doesn't make sense for me to use the hardware simply for simply for the Ator, especially if the token price crashes and plummets the way I think it probably will if they continue this this thing, if we can say that. Yeah, because they 10% of those of their tokens is relay rewards that are still going to be dished out. That's a lot. That's a chunk of change. So that's where I'm at with it. I wish it was a better world out there where everybody was doing the right thing and it was easy for us to just know, oh, these guys are the ones that we're gonna go with. Okay, but that's not the way things work now. There's a lot of people competing for eyeballs. I mean, YouTube itself, it's a competition for eyeballs day in, day out. Which brings me to the final point of this video. Thank you. Thank you for coming on, for you guys hanging out. It's been awesome. I didn't actually think I was going to do a stream tonight, but here I am. I am going to make streams more often because I've been told that people enjoy them, even though it doesn't get a huge turnout. People are still having a good time and enjoying the streams. And I'll say it first here, an idea that I literally had today. I am considering having a open stream where I will allow anyone to jump on video with me, and if it's a project, we can talk about their token, what they're building, any of that. Or if they're a content creator, they can come on, and I'll be glad to help them do their setup, technology. What is it that they need to stream with? How do they set up? I'm going to do all of that. Just because I think it's needed in the space. There's a lot of people that have really good things to say and not enough knowledge, know-how, or connections to get it done the best way possible. So I just want to try to be I want to be a tool, as terrible as that sounds, for people that want to actually get things, kicked off and going. I just think there's a lot of value there, and I would be, yeah, I wouldn't be doing the best thing if I didn't make that available. So I think it's just going to be fun. It's going to be a good time, and people hopefully enjoy the back and forth, and we hopefully we don't get a lot of trolls. So talking to you, Network Bits. Come on, anytime, anytime. But you guys are great. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in, joining, and having a little bit of a good time here with me. This went on way longer than I thought, but as always, it's been awesome because you all are great, and I can't wait to basically stream again and be here and share more information with you guys because there's a lot of stuff happening, and I just want to make sure that I bring it to you first. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next one.